So our first award of the day is called the Leadership Award. The Leadership Award is given to an organization that has gone above and beyond the call of duty, even in the face of a pandemic, to make sure students were on track to college and could experience upward mobility and turn his or her life around. For the last 15 years, this year's Leadership Award recipient, a native of Indianapolis, has provided stellar leadership in her role for the past 9 years. Each year, she and her team help more than 10,000 promising African American and other students of color to go to and through college with scholarships, internships, and fellowships. She manages office operations for Indiana and Ohio with annual campaigns of $2.5 million and other statewide initiatives. Her leadership has resulted in $70 million being raised since 2006 to support 37 UNCF colleges and universities and minority scholars that also attend Indiana state schools. This performance was recognized nationally in 2019 as the top performing office that has exceeded its annual campaign goals for the past 5 out of 6 years. A graduate of Indiana University, this year's recipient lives her organization's mission. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in, and has galvanized organizations around the country to invest their time and money in better futures for young people in Indiana. Please help me celebrate this year's African American Excellence in Education Leadership Award recipient, Mrs. Andrea Neely, Regional Development Director from the United Negro College Fund, the UNCF, Indianapolis, and Educator Barnes, Indy K-12, as they have a conversation about the importance of UNCF and the Indianapolis ecosystem.
Hi, I am Educator Barnes, and I'm here with Andrea Neely, and we're going to have a conversation just about excellence in leadership, excellence in education. Andrea is the Regional Developmental Director for UNCF for Indiana and Ohio, and I'm so glad to have you here today.
Well, I am excited to be here and share about the work that UNCF has been doing over the last 76 years, but in particular, what's happening in the Indianapolis community and statewide.
Great. Could you tell us a little bit about your leadership journey? How do you get to the place that you are now?
Hard work, commitment, dedication, and passion to the mission. My background is finance, and I'm in, the nonprofit world. I wanted to be in banking, and my journey came from working in the bank and supporting the Department for Mortgages, and therefore saw how disparity in mortgages for minorities, and were being redlined. And so there was opportunities to work with the community development corporations that really help support families to get affordable housing. And so my journey went from banking into affordable housing, economic development in the community. And 6 years there, I realized that the common denominator for many of the families that were in low-income communities of color did not have an education beyond high school or not completing with the GED. And so during that work, I had my former boss, Fred Mitchell, saw me at a panel conversation and kind of approached me. And I thought, what a great opportunity to really empower families with education. So it breaks the cycle of poverty in so many different manners, as well as health conditions because of education. And so I ended following a mission that is so powerful, and it's changed so many lives that, I found that passion, commitment, and willing to put in the hard work because of the impact that it has.
And so, can you tell us a little bit about what UNCF has been doing recently to really impact students in our local community in our Midwest region?
Oh my gosh. So the Indianapolis Regional Office for the last 8 years has exceeded its annual campaign goal. And that speaks to the commitment, not just in Indianapolis, but statewide. We have leadership councils in Northwest Indiana, Fort Wayne, Central Indiana, and, Evansville. And so you have volunteers who are part of a leadership council that are using their influences and support to really ensure that students across the state of Indiana have access to resources.
Now, I think it's important to note that you guys are in the K-12 space, because I think sometimes people just focus on like the college and the scholarships. But when I think about what you said about the general studies, it's like what happened in the K-12 space that got people to go to that general studies degree, because you get that and it's like, what type of job do you get? And I've been in education for the last 15 years in various roles, teacher coach, admin. And I see all these different things. So as you guys are in the advocacy space, what are some things that you're hoping that parents are advocating for, or what things have you guys helped parents advocate for to improve the education that their children are receiving in the K-12 space?
The biggest thing that UNCF has really been mindful of is working with partners such as the Urban League, the Mind Trust, working with our superintendents, and being able to bring together to have conversations about what is needed for their students, but also understanding what challenges are happening within the schools. If there's expulsions, then your child is not in school to learn. But if parents have a place in a space, they can actually speak to what their needs are, have those needs met to address some of the challenges, then that makes it a lot easier, because you're no longer, it's not foreign to you, it's not uncomfortable, because you know someone is with you advocating for this work so that it can be done, so your child's not suspended, that they're not put in a special ed class that they necessarily don't need to be in, but it's convenient. Parents can advocate to understand my child has special needs, but they also need this type of support. UNCF is providing that by holding conversations not only with parents, but also educators, influencers, those are making policies impacting education, and talking and understanding what our teachers really need to be successful in the classroom. We're holding those discussions because oftentimes you don't know what you don't know until you have a conversation.
And once again, thank you to Mrs. Neely and Mrs. Barnes for a powerful conversation around the impact that the UNCF has had on the Indianapolis education ecosystem. At this time, please help me to welcome Ms. Andrea Neely as she accepts this year's African American Excellence in Education Leadership Award.
So through this award in excellence in educational leadership, how important is it to celebrate African American educators, our Black educators? What impact does this make on them and in our educational system?
It's significant because students can see themselves in teachers that look like them. Administrations are impacted by the diversity and the perspective of what's necessary within the schools and the impact that they're having. It's necessary, very important, because we've got amazing teachers who are given very little and they're doing creative, innovative, transformational education for students that may not have believed in themselves. Why? Because they understand. I think every person that you go to can tell you about a story of a teacher that made a difference in their life. My story is Jackie Greenwood. And Jackie Greenwood got me in algebra and said to me, Andrea, give me your best. Because at that point, I wasn't giving my best. She pushed me. I ended up graduating from Shortridge in 3 years. I was excelled because she pushed me to be the best that she saw. Others teacher did not. I was in advanced classes. She was pushing me. And the expectation was, you can do this. Oftentimes, if you're not seeing a teacher push you that looks like you, oftentimes it's questioning or maybe not encouraging you to do something bigger than you. It's very, very important. It's the heartbeat of the success that our students will have that look like us. My children would often wonder, well, where are all the Black teachers, and why is it the only people of color in the building, Mom, are either in the cafeteria or our janitor? And he's really cool, but it makes a difference, and it's significant for them to be celebrated, acknowledged, lift up, and supported. It's very, very important. And I want to applaud all those amazing teachers that continue to make a difference in so many students' lives. It's a gift that continues to give years beyond your teaching, that oftentimes it is not acknowledged. I simply say thank you. The Jackie Greenwoods in this community are making a difference, and I'm a product of Shortridge High School, IPS, and I'm proud of who I've become because of the foundations of teachers like Jackie Greenwood.